A little bit of trivia that I was not wearing the white shirt in that shot, but it was too good a shot, so that's why I put my hands up like that.
So it was fortunate that that it was in the dark there.
Yes, actually it was. And that they just had that thrown. That was actually for Little Karibo's birthday / kind of roast, and they just left it up there for all the guests who were Q&A. So, so that always looks nice.
I never get a throne in any convention I go to.
Well, you're not me. And there, actually, I had to overdub my voice because I was starting to lose my voice, and I couldn't. I didn't want to hotel because we get thrown out. So, so that little at the very end, you still hear I don't have my voice back. That's actually from earlier.
The people. I feel kind of bad for Leo because a lot of people actually did say they kind of wanted him to be part of a 3-person review.
It was one of those things where I don't think I would have enough time to write in 3, and I think we were building you up so much that it just sort of seemed funnier to go that way, and I knew I could do something funny with him just being, sort of cast aside, and he'd be cool with it, and he'd play it, big for laughs and stuff like that, and he really did.
I just realized we didn't introduce ourselves. Hello, everybody.
Yeah, well, who are you?
No one knows.
I just assumed I was talking to a total stranger.
Oh, yeah. If you click on this video, you'll hear in the commentary before you watch the actual video, you have no idea who the hell these people are.
Well, I'll introduce myself. I am Leo Thompson. I'm the guy with the ponytail there.
I'm Lord Cat, and F you.
Yeah.
Oh, good times. Oh, yeah, and this is a great shot and a great introduction to me.
Now, I have to thank Leo, because actually I forgot to get a shot of the TV before I left, and he actually went out of his way to go to the hotel after I left, get a shot of it, and send it to me. So big thanks to him for that.
Oh, awesome.
I really love these, these recaps.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying the first time I did these recaps, because I was going to do something different for each one, sort of a last time on, like one I was going to do like Lost, or another I was going to do like, maybe even like a Star Trek Next Generation. The Batman one was just so funny, I had to do it for all of them.
We should probably explain how this came to be in the first place.
Oh, that's a good point. Really, it was one of those things I was trying to figure out what month to do. I had a few options for different months, and finally, we all really like Star Trek, so we're just like, okay, let's do Star Trek month.
You like Star Trek so much, but you get so many details wrong.
Yeah, and I like Nemesis. What's wrong with me? Cut my balls off. I'm the worst. I knew. I mean, obviously, you're like the Star Trek king. I mean, you the uniforms, you do all that stuff, and so I was just sort of making a joke, don't tell Linkara or else he might want a cameo or something like that, and I just sort of kept making this joke throughout the videos, and it's one of the first times I was building up the cameo without realizing at some point I had to do the cameo. I had to do a crossover or something, and keep getting bigger and bigger, so at some point I had to ask you, like, hey, did you want to do a crossover or something?
You were like 3 or 4 weeks into Star Trek month, and people were still sending me, "Hey, did you know this Nostalgia Critic's doing Star Trek month?"
And what worked out well is that I finally contacted you. I'm just like, okay, we should probably talk about this, doing something or a cameo, crossover or something. I just said, what's your thoughts on the Star Trek films? And you said your least favorite was this one. I said, well, that's perfect because that's the last one I'm doing, and it's actually my least favorite too. So that works out pretty well.
Oh yeah, and the bit right here with the list of things you get wrong. I did kind of think that we should have a Duty McNitpick moment, but yeah, I've always wanted to do that because ever since your Battlefield Earth review, that's bugged me. I don't mind if you make some jokes, if you make jokes about the movie, and you make fun of something like Battlefield Earth, but it's just like you got a detail wrong, and it was a pretty big detail.
I don't know. I still find it hard to believe that a race that destructive would never make something the equivalent of whatever that was.
It was radiation. It was just that the breathing gases that they breathed reacted violently to radiation.
They're so violent and so... Okay, we're getting off on something else.
I know. But even then, that comes back to this because you got some details wrong on this review, too.
Oh, well, but that's why I had you on, so you could correct them. See, now it's your fault. You were there.
Yeah, I will take some responsibility here because there was one or two lines that I really should have told you. No, you're wrong. Like, later on, you say, well, why don't they just transport them out right away, and why do they use the tags when they explicitly say they're setting up those towers to prevent them from doing that?
Okay, I was trying to find a scene where they said, for some reason, they couldn't do that. Okay, so it was in there. I just missed it. All right.
Yeah, it was Data telling the kid, Artem, I think his name was. And by the way, yes, I hate this movie. I absolutely despise this movie. And if you like it, that's fine. I know I'm in the minority opinion here about how bad I think this movie is, but to me, this movie is just, like, offensive to me as a Star Trek fan and just as a fan of common sense.
Well, I think what bothers a lot of people about it, and sort of what I really hate about it, is that even if you take, because a lot of people say either, like, 1-5 or Nemesis are the worst, yet they all have something. There's something movie-ish about them, at least. This one, whether you agree with the politics or not, it's just dull. It's like a long, boring episode.
Indeed. Which is probably the nicest thing I can say about it. Oh, by the way, that was another thing. I mean, I could, like, critique and nitpick so many things, like him doing the line of, you remember when we used to be explorers? They used to do this kind of negotiation all the time on the show. This is not...
and what's great, it just makes you wish, like, yeah, I do. Couldn't you make a movie about that? And you're just making us regret the fact that we're watching this movie even more.
And yeah, people are trying to we're trying to also justify the blue guy and this, and it's like, oh, it's about distractions of the greater technological world. The greater world around them is oh so distracting, oh so problematic, and so busy and fast paced. The problem is it's not handled all that well. We don't actually see him legitimately stressed out about these kind of things. He's still kind of cracking wise about it, and even then, sure, small talk at parties is kind of inconvenient, but it's not really that bad in the long scheme of things that you need, like, to live on Paradise Planet of regeneration and time slowing down.
Is that the argument we're making? They're saying that the blue guy was representing, like, just more technology, more technobabble that's constantly surrounding people or something like that. I never would have gotten that.
That's what some people are saying, and I kind of get that, but I still think it was handled really poorly.
I really love that image there.
Aliens.
It really does sort of look like a last known photograph. Oh, and F. Murray, the great F. Murray Abraham, just totally thrown away in this performance. I mean, it's like, totally forgot he was in this movie. That's one of the great actors.
And you shove them into roles that have nothing to them. And yeah, let's discuss some of the things that people have brought up about this. Like, if even though I despise this movie, I actually do legitimately like the sing-along bit in this movie.
Okay, explain it. I don't get it. Why does singing to him break his programming or make him go goofy or whatever? I don't get it.
Well, he explicitly states right there, we've seen how he reacts to threats. I wonder how he would react to, and then just kind of thinks, like,
But
different.
why would he react to that? It's not
because Picard says, as Data was rehearsing a performance of HMS Pinafore before he left the ship, so they're trying to, like, call upon his last memories and just, like, see how he would react to something so completely goofy like that.
Okay, so is the idea that because he's malfunctioning that they're trying to play the malfunction sort of thing, like play with the bugs sort of, like he wouldn't normally do this?
Yeah.
Thing is that okay. Yeah, I never followed that. My brother and I were just sort of chatting, like, yeah, we sort of thought the same thing. Like, it's cute. I don't know why there's a bouncing ball on one of the shuttles.
Yeah,
But,
well, actually, Red Letter Media did a great thing about that. Why do you only need to press 2 buttons to bring up the HMS Pinafore?
It's like they just have radio stations, in the future, just constantly play Gilbert and Sullivan all the time. Actually, do you realize the best lines in this movie? There's only 2 funny lines in this movie, and they're both from Worf. It's the Gilbert and Sullivan line, which we didn't include in the review, and then the other is the Oxygen line. Those are the only 2 funny lines.
I think there's like 1 or 2 other funny lines that I think are funny, but like compared to other lines, the really ones just like really overwhelm you. And a lot of people were upset that we didn't include stuff like the flotation device or the. Have you noticed that your started to firm up?
By the time it was done, I think it was like, what is this, like 28 minutes long? It's just like, it's like, I gotta condense it.
I gave you like 6 or 7 pages of notes.
Yeah, and this one, you can't even begin to capture the boredom this woman emanates in a review. I mean, it's like, we made a few jokes, but it's like, you just gotta watch. This tone she has is literally throughout the whole movie.
She never, ever raises her voice. And by the way, what's really sad is this is like the first Star Trek movie that I think used entirely CG stuff and like no practical models for like the Enterprise and whatnot. And all the shots in space look really, really good. Everything on the planet looks really, really awful. The CGI hummingbird, the CGI chipmunk thing.
Actually, you want to know what's funny? When this first came out, I thought the CG on the ships, I thought the same thing, that it looks good. I can really tell. I think after watching especially after watching Generations and that great crash on the planet, those were models and they looked incredible. I can really see it now. They look a little too smooth, a little too rubbery. They almost look rubbery. To me, but a lot of people usually they agree with you. They like the way the ships look actually, and they think they move okay. I mean, it's not distracting necessarily, but I think after one generation, even those bits from First Contact, I think it does show. Actually, here's something I'm sort of curious about. Just as a personal opinion, I kind of like those gray uniforms. I thought when they changed that in First Contact, that was kind of cool. What's your thought on that?
Oh, I love the gray uniform. I felt it looks like a uniform. The Voyager style uniform, I should say, because DS9 eventually adopted the gray uniforms. The black with the color on top with the purple undershirt always looked kind of goofy, mostly because of the purple bit. But otherwise, the gray uniforms I absolutely love. I think they look great. They look professional. They just look good. I like them. Oh, yeah, and yes, and she was under mind control during that point, and that was Thomas Riker, not Will Riker, but details, people, details. It's still kissing the same guy with a beard.
She has to have some memory of it.
Me bringing in my nerdy Star Trek lips. Let's get back, though, to the movie itself and some other things that people thought we should have brought up. A lot of people are saying, well, they didn't explicitly state that they hated technology. They seem pretty clear on their stance about hating technology. They never refer to data as by name. They always say the artificial life form.
The kid has a prejudice against data, which is very lightly touched upon, but I mean, it's there. They're just like, they don't like looking at the kid to walk away, and he doesn't let you're a machine. You're never a kid. I mean, the kid starts off hating him.
Yeah, and Picard explicitly states that he's the epitome of everything they reject, reject in life. Why would you need this device? Why would you ever need this device? This damn. It's stupid.
He has the same look for
damn, the big wheel and what? It's still pretty. And look at this architecture. This is, even by hand, even if they were really skilled artisans, and yes, I know historically people can do this, but it's still really, really hard work. All the details and everything, like the masonry, all to do all this without technology or machines of some kind that will be helpful to construct and make this look all as pretty as it does with awnings and everything. It just seems a little far-fetched.
Oh, that does. I can't swim. That's the dumbest thing I ever
a few people were critical of us on that, but damn it, 300 years, you have free time.
I was showing this to my brother when I was done. I think he laughed the hardest. Actually, I laughed the hardest just after that dumb line. Just, oh, I never got around to it. You just shout, you are stupid. Because it's like there's no other thing you can say there.
And boring. I included that at the end too. And boring because she's so boring.
No,
Express an emotion, woman.
There's a lot of lines that you had that they were funny lines. It's just one thing, again, just for, the pace and how long, can you have this review? You have to click that. But I mean, it's one of those things where it's just like, yeah, that's so funny. I think one of the lines you have was, she even drowns boring.
Well, yeah, she even sounds boring. I mean, it's actually a pretty legitimate, good line, because Picard tells her, don't panic, and she replies, I've been shot at, and I just learned that people are trying to kidnap me. What's there to panic about? But she delivers it, so flatly, so boringly. And okay, people, you can probably make a claim that, yes, this is their planet, if at least for what's the word? What's the term for someone? Squatters' rights. Even for squatters' rights, for staying there for 300 years, even before the Federation. But you can probably make an argument for that, but it's still a matter of, why do they need this specific planet unless they want to keep the Fountain of Youth? There is no other reason why they can't just, move to another spot. I get they don't want to necessarily move their homes, but and that's another problem with the movie. The Federation never just comes to them and asks them, can we please have this planet? We will relocate you to another place. At least in the Native Americans forced relocation episode, and yes, they do try that, people. Picard does plan to beam them all up if they can't negotiate. Worf explicitly states that. Even then, they said they had spiritual reasons why they decided to stay. But this one, no, there is no reason for them why it needs to be this place unless they want to retain their immortality. And one other thing that people, I know, I'll keep up is people's criticism to this. The reason why they can't just set up a colony is because Admiral Dougherty here explicitly states the Sona require at least 10 more years of exposure to the planet's atmosphere in order to begin reversing their conditions, and he says most of them won't live that long, which means that they need the medical properties of the radiation in whatever refined form it is, or else they will die. And it's never brought up again.
Okay. Actually, that's a good thing about having someone that can really follow this film, because honestly, it was so boring to me that I wouldn't be able to. If someone brought this up, a lot of stuff you were bringing out, just be like, oh, I never thought of that. Okay, sorry. I will say that, but I mean, with that said, there's a lot of stuff about this movie where even, someone could watch Star Trek 2 or Star Trek 3 or whatever, and they can catch on. The casual viewer can watch it and catch on. With this one, it's just explaining why this can't work and why this can't work and it's, the normal viewer can't keep up, I don't think, or you have to watch it several times. Even I've watched it several times to review it. And I miss a lot of this stuff. It's just glanced over so quickly, and I think a lot of that just has to deal with really a plot and a plot device that you don't really care about.
Otherwise, though, I think they would have explicitly stated, we can set up a colony here. We'll just do it over a longer period of time. But otherwise, it's again they do offer an explanation for, and of course, they quickly forget it. I think even the film writers forgot that they made that point, because they go out of their way to make the Sona into such evil people.
Now, that's one of the lines that technically I could have cut and we wouldn't miss anything, but I thought that's just a very legit point when you watch the movie, is that, where is the sun in the solar system? It's never shown.
Everything looks like it's in Southern California, probably because it was filmed in Southern California.
Yeah, and this kid literally, 2 minutes ago, they show a scene where he's like, Father, no! And he's just like, Data, you should learn how to play. It's like, what? I think we missed him.
I was actually rather critical of his delivery of Father, because I was just like, what child shouts Father? Why not Dad or No, but Father?
But it's because we've been around technology too long. People would shout "Dad" because we're lazy. We don't want to shout the extra syllable. This is never explained. Am I right? This is never explained.
Never explained.
It's just no more questions. That's the dumbest reason for anything in sci-fi I've ever heard.
Why don't you use this talent to help you get out of there? It would, like, get everyone there without the ships coming to take you away. And stupid CGI hummingbird. It looks so fake.
I'm really good, because I have to bring First Contact is one of my favorite Star Trek movies. It really stands out. It's really unique. It's very dark. It's a different... sort of a different angle on Star Trek. It's much more the action film I like, but it's not just firing it, from the ship. It's, they're walking on the ship and they're trying to defend and they got the machine. I mean, it's a really action-packed Star Trek flick, and I really liked it for that. And I'm just always shocked to think that the exact same person who directed this one, because this one's such a bore.
I'm trying to remember who exactly wrote it, but there is an unpublished book by, I think, Michael Piller, I want to say. I can't remember who detailed the behind-the-scenes build-up of this film and a lot of the original ideas for it, and even they were admitting as the process was going along, this is really not working, but we need to out a film.
I can see it. I mean, it is one of those things, I mean, as much as... I guess Nostalgia Critic, where we can say, the director, the writers, it's, sometimes it definitely is, but sometimes, it's just bad luck. It's just the system. It's just things happen. And it can be the other way around, too. Sometimes, people aren't very talented or can't make, luck happen twice. They get lucky and they make a very good movie. So, it's like, as much as we try to assign blame, to the creators and stuff, it's like, really, we don't know. I mean, that's why I always say, this is for laughs, this is comedy, it's a character, and yes, I can really hate a movie, fine, I can really love it, but it's like, it get down to, this is the reason, I don't know, I'm making it up.
It is a lot of difference of style. I am more and more moving towards more analytical reviews. Your reviews have always been more on the side of jokey than analysis.
Yeah, I do get into analysis, every once in a while, but it's certainly, I mean, nowhere near like what you do or what Lindsay does or even what Nick does. I mean, because you'll really go into details where it's like my first concern really is to get a laugh. But I mean, not to totally sacrificing pointing out what works about it or what doesn't work about it. But yeah, I mean, it's sort of my opinion. I mean, a critic, when you get down to it, they're basing their opinion. They're saying their opinion. They're saying what they think might last or won't last or what pins up. But it still comes down to opinion. So really, I think you just, at the very least, you have to be entertaining.
Now, the Sona and the Baku being the same race creates so many big plot holes. First of all, they never explicitly state that the Baku kept all of their technology like in the forest buried or something like that. They never explicitly state how they keep up with all this technology and everything. So if we're to infer that they kept all their technology, that's what they did. They shoved all of the people who tried to take over the colony, as they say, into their ships and then told them to go away. First of all, that's a really stupid idea because, one, they'll have the ships now. Why don't they just fly over and crush the entire village underneath you? Two, do you think they won't try to come back later on, like with weapons, since they seem perfectly since they're trying to take over a colony? I'm assuming that they are willing to use violence and weapons, and you people aren't. It seems like it's just like why would you ever exile them like that? Just shove them into another continent.
My only thoughts of this villain, F. Murray Abrahams' villain, is just him going, wah! Ooh, no! Wah!
It's like he lets himself have fun with the topness when he wants to.
I mean, it's like, that's all I remember. I remember nothing about him being threatening, just him going, no! Nothing goes his way. And he's just so useless and not threatening.
Other people also suggested that maybe they accept a certain level of technology and they just reject electronic technology. Okay, but they never say that. And I said in the comments, if you can't say what you mean, don't say anything. Or just like, even then, there's like so much good that certain electronic technologies could still provide for them. And in a rural community like this, those kids aren't going to be playing CGI hacky sack. You don't have time to do that. Farm work is hard and intensive and grueling, especially without machines to help out with the process. And even then, they're still letting electronic technology defend them. And I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, you're right. They wouldn't have time to learn that game and be as well at it as they are.
Oh yeah, I did make a joke. I did want to include the from Upteen, if only because I wrote in the notes. Let's compare and contrast this with Star Trek 2. I have a line of Khan, really dramatic and Shakespearean, and then bang. Have you noticed that your started to firm up?
Almost said the word. I was toying with the idea that all throughout the review I would cut back to Leo against the wall, just at random. I tried it once or twice, it didn't quite work, but I love the idea that we would just cut back to him off the wall doing nothing, just reminding you he's still there.
I think it kind of works better with just the cut at the end there.
Yeah, I like it. Now, what's your, because like I said, I'm one of that, I can't say it's good, but I can't say it's as bad as I think everyone else makes it out to be. And what's your feeling on Nemesis real quick?
When I first saw Nemesis, I thought it was actually fairly decent, but as time has gone on, I've started to realize just how truly awful this film is. And you like the nature versus nurture argument, but that's like one of those no frickin' duh kind of themes, and to me anyway, and he's still a really bad guy, and maybe if they played up the he feels guilty about doing this kind of angle, but they don't, and it's just like him making really big mistakes and never seeming to want to do the I will take your blood thing. He never wants to do the procedure that will save his life. He's always postponing it.
Yeah, no, it's certainly one of those that are like, how can you not do Nemesis? And I certainly see the bad stuff. I do. I'm not going to act like it's not there, but I do. Like I said, the stuff I like, I do like. And the stuff I hate is bad, but, what can you do? So, thanks for joining me, Lewis, and thanks for Noah for setting this up as well, setting up this recording here. It's very nice of him.
Indeed. Thank you, sir. See you guys out there.